Correct.
I'm chatting this morning with Jeff Leonard, who is with the National Association of Convenience Stores. And Jeff, your organization surveys not only your members, but also the customers of those convenience stores. And with those customers, it's a very sensitive gauge about what's going on in the economy as a whole. So tell me a little bit about this two-part sensitive survey.
Well, one is monthly we do a consumer survey, and the idea is people who buy gas, it's almost the canary in the coal mine. The indicators that you get from people who are affected by gas prices has a bigger impact on the economy as a whole. And over the last 3 years when we've surveyed consumers, we've seen that even a penny increase or decrease in general affects consumer sentiment about the economy. It is directional, and when prices rise, sentiment goes down. Opposite happens when prices decline. Now, we've had somewhat of a schism the last few months where optimism has actually stayed low even as gas prices have stayed low. And it's been very unusual, and then we asked some people about it, and the answer was the election. Just the nastiness of the election is really driving some negative sentiment about the economy. The other factor, of course, you have some global security issues and terrorism.
So these are obviously forward-looking rather than rearward-looking surveys. That's great news. What do you see even further out? Or are they not quite sensitive enough to predict, let's say, 6 months out?
Well, what we usually see is that optimism is usually around 50%. Now, right now it's around 44%, and that relates to gas prices on the rise the last 4 months. Hopefully we've seen the end of those increases. It's good for our business, it's good for the economy. So we'll probably see optimism increase again, we hope. But interestingly, right now, our retailer optimism is absolutely matched by consumer optimism. So they are in line at about 45%.
Have those ever diverged?
Traditionally, retailer optimism, we measure 3 different levels. We ask them about, how do you feel about the U.S. economy? How do you feel about the convenience store business? And how do you feel about your business? And they increasingly are more optimistic with each of those questions. Usually it's about 50%, 60% are optimistic about the economy, 70% are optimistic about the industry, 80% are optimistic about the convenience store industry. Those numbers have all come down, but they're still most optimistic about their business.
Well, of course, retail's been hit hard, but the convenience store industry is so much more a ground level rather than a big department store type of view.
Well, one of the things is we don't want to say we're recession proof, but we're close to that because when you need gas, you fill up. You're not going to necessarily fill up less, and we're actually seeing record demand this year for fuel. When you're thirsty, you're not going to check your stock portfolio, you're going to get something to drink. And when you're hungry, you're going to get something to eat. Now, the good news is when gas prices go down, people have more permission to spend money on themselves, to pamper themselves. So we do see an increase in drink sales and in food sales when gas prices go down. People will, okay, I'm worth it, I'm going to spend the money instead of going home and getting something there.
Are there any challenges to your industry right now?
Well, you hear about things like drones or robots and all those other things, but we are immediate consumption. And by the time it takes somebody to pack a drone or a robot or something like that, people don't want to wait an hour.
So you're saying Amazon is not a challenge? There's no competition there?
There can be. They sell ice, believe it or not. They sell water that comes in some kind of plastic pack. You throw it in the freezer, you got ice a couple hours later. So they really are affecting everything, and they will affect convenience stores. But the challenge that they have is a challenge everybody else has. How do you make it? How do you do all this with delivery with labor? Because labor is expensive. You need good labor to execute, and people maybe will do the home fueling or something like that. That's another thing that's emerged, but it comes at a cost. It really does add cost to the system, and it will be more expensive than just going to the retailer.
Jeff, thanks so much for joining us today.